is it's a Murphy Moose. Well, a Murphy SR 2500 partially converted to a Moose. It's kit number 14. So when they first came out with them, they weren't even built yet. They didn't have the first prototype. They had the design, and I put a deposit down on a kit, made it real cheap, or cheaper. And then as they started putting them out, I got my kit, and people started hanging an M14P, that Russian radial, on them. And Murphy didn't much like that. They thought maybe they needed to beef it up a little bit. So they went through a program and beefed up the SR 2500.
And what engine does this have on it?
This has a Lycoming 540. It's an angle valve, 290 horsepower. And I think it was 17 years from the day I started to the day I finished building it. But it didn't take that long to build. It only took me like 4 years.
Well, you were transferred around with your job a lot, didn't you?
Right, yeah, I was in mining, and they took me in South America for 7 years. So, and then when I came back, I'd get transferred. So I'd spend like 14 months here, and I'd work on it. Then I'd get transferred, and I'd get moved, move the family, and I have to go back and get the plane, take it apart, move, and anyway, I finally got it built.
What did Todd Underwood say the first time he flew it?
So he did the test flight, on the first flight on it, and he came back grinning from ear to ear going, "It's an elevator, it's an elevator, it just goes up." And it's pretty true. I mean, you just add power and you don't really have to do anything and it'll take off. Early on, I had some high oil temperatures, and so I had to mess with the cowl, and I changed a lot of things on it from what Murphy did. And anyway, I ended up with, like the mall, an oil cooler in the front, so it got plenty of air, and swapped these things that feeds the fuel injection system.
Well, it looks a lot like a Beaver, a de Havilland Beaver to me.
So if you had the round engine, it would really look like a Beaver other than a square tail. The guy Daryl Murphy, when they were designing it, he had help. The guy who helped him was the guy who designed the Beaver. So he was in on development of this airframe.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know, you see a lot of them around with that radial engine on. They'll put big tires and floats, that kind of stuff, and they call it a baby Beaver. The Moose, it's a 3,500 pound gross weight, and this one somewhere 2,500 was the SR 2500, that's the name.
Yes.
This one's somewhere in between there. I kind of pegged it around 3,000, 3,200 gross weight. Empty weight, it's 1,740.
Well, that's pretty light, really.
Yeah, so it'll almost double its weight in carrying capacity. The only mod I didn't do is on the top of the wing. There's some mods on the tail. You can see it's the same concept. If you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So they beefed up the horizontal stabilizer, and if you look here, it's got some extra pieces of metal along the front and rear spar. And this is one of them, and then here's the other one with another cap over top of it.
Wow, that's
so all of this is to increase the strength of the tail, and they had the same concept on the top of the wing, and it started from the wing root and came out to about the end of the fuel tanks, which is about where the strut's at. You can see that three rows of rivets.
Okay.
And then it kind of stair-stepped out to about mid-aileron.
Well, there are certainly a lot of rivets in this machine.
Yeah, I didn't count them, but somebody said there's something like 25,000 rivets in it. The top of that wing, you can almost walk on it.
Wow.
As it is.
Wow.
I mean, they're very close spaced, and that's the difference between pull rivets, is a closer spacing than a driven rivet.
Uh-huh.
And they call them AVEX rivets. So they were developed in World War II. So when the plane would get shot up, they didn't drive them, they just slap a piece of metal on there and use pull rivets to fix the plane.
Keep them in the air.
Yeah. I got a bunch of junk in here.
Most of these planes have a bunch of junk in it. Everybody thinks they're all clean.
Well, I sat on a pillow because I can't see over the nose. I'll go over the other side.
You cannot believe how many planes I see have pillows because people can't see over the nose. So this is pretty much how they are.
Seats go forward, the back seats are on rails, and I can just pull a couple pins and then they come out.
Very good.
And there's some unique things about it. This mechanism up here actually activates the flaps, and the ailerons will droop half as much as the flaps.
Oh, can I show that?
So let me get in here and we'll activate them.
Okay.
So here's the flap panel. And you can, if you look out there, you can see the ailerons are down.
Yeah, the ailerons are slightly down and the flaps are down.
Yeah, and then
So they're interconnected.
they're interconnected. Well,
Just like a beaver. Wow.
it's got a lot of room in it.
Oh, the room is unbelievable.
Pretty much steam gauges. I have a friend who has like a glass cockpit, and we were flying one time, and this little glass thing kind of burned out. We were in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, and he would call me on the radio, hey, so let me know when your engine's warmed up, then I'll know mine's warmed up. We flew around like that for 2 weeks.
Well, I like these steam gauges because they do not go down. I mean, very seldom do you lose a round gauge where these flat screens, they're expensive and they break a lot.
Yeah, the baggage compartment's pretty big.
This is amazing, the room you have in here.
Yeah, I've seen them. Murphy had 2 55-gallon barrels stuck in the back of one of their advertisements one time.
Really?
Yeah, this door over here is pretty big.
Let me come around and look at it.
I carry about 50 or 70 pounds of weight around in the baggage compartment because it tends to be a little, the way I built it, a little nose heavy.
Yeah?
Yeah, so when you carry stuff, you're not too far back on the CG. And so I just carry a little extra weight.
Look at the baggage room in this thing. If you're used to a Cessna that has one you can almost put a cowboy hat in, this is amazing.
And it's really accessible to the back. I put a door in it. You just look in there, get to the battery, and check out the back pretty good.
Boy, that helps in pre-flight. It helps in annuals. It helps just watching. That, for anything bad to happen, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's kind of tight if you want to crawl all the way back there in a tail cone, but you can do it. I tend not to do it much anymore. I just got done putting an extra window in it. So Murphy, they're designed to have like 5 windows.
Oh.
And I didn't put them in. I was trying to keep it light.
Uh-huh.
And because I'm carrying extra weight back there, I guess that little plexiglass wouldn't hurt.
Won't hurt a lick, yeah.
And you can kind of see back and then see your tail too.
Yeah.
And it handles beautiful. You just point it and put the stick what you want to do, and that's what it does.
Just stays there.
It just stays there.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of times, if it's smooth like today, you just fly it with your feet.
Huh.
You want to turn, you just give it a little rudder, and you don't have to do anything else.
Very, very good design.
Yeah. So it turned out real well. I'm happy with it.